I'm ready now. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my show. Hey DFW. Sorry we started out late. It's totally my fault. I ran a little bit late today, and I had to climb up 12 flights of stairs. So I am exhausted, but extremely proud of myself. Today's show is sponsored by Specs Custom Writing Services. It's a boutique writing agency that specializes in resumes, cover letters, biographies, and much more. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Specs Writing. That's SPECSWRITING Writing. All right, so today I am bringing back a special guest. I interviewed him earlier this year, and some of our great content got lost, so I want to give him another chance to come on and spread some good information, tell us what he's been up to, and get in his business, y'all. Welcome the CEO of INC Tutoring, Veal.
Hey, what's going on, everybody out there, man? Glad to be here and make some things happen for y'all today, so stay tuned.
Yes, Jay is the CEO of INC Tutoring, the #1 African-American owned private tutoring company in DFW. He is the founder of the Veal brand, a premier consulting firm that offers education and business consulting as well as speaking engagement. He's also the co-founder of INC Beauty, a beauty and education brand. So here he is, you guys, and he's been so sweet and so patient with me today with all of my mishaps. So I'm totally grateful and indebted to him.
It's all good, no worries.
So let's get started. So can you just go back and tell us a little bit about your background, your education?
Yeah, for sure. So hey everybody, I'm Jay Veal. Once again, CEO of INC Tutoring. So my original let's rewind the tape a little bit. So I'm not from Dallas, Fort Worth. Actually born northeast to LA, San Bernardino area. Probably raised in all kind of places. I've been in different countries and stuff like that. And I landed in Dallas to do my last year of high school at Townview Science Engineering. Once I graduated from there, kind of went out of the state to go to school and things like that. And then once I came back to Dallas after school, and then completed my bachelor's degree, got a chance to go into the tech industry and work. So worked at Microsoft for a few years, Baylor Healthcare IT, some telecommunications companies and banks and things of that nature. So I had a pretty good diverse background, and also worked for the credit agency and Experience. So have a nice little background of different things. And once I got done with that, in 2008 roughly, I went into the education space. I kept on getting emails about, hey, you should be in education. I'm like, no, that's not what I signed up for. But once I kind of followed that path, it was God's calling on me to go ahead and knock that out. So did my first year of teaching at Townview, went back to my alma mater to go teach, did a fast track mathematics course and a bunch of other math courses. And then I went to Cedar Hill Ninth Grade Center, Uplift Education, taught there. Became an instructional coach back in Dallas after that, and then also in DeSoto became a STEM district coach, and then an adjunct professor at the university for math as well for 4 years. And then in the middle of all that mix, about the middle of 2015-ish is when I started INC Tutoring. And so I noticed that there was a gap between what students were not getting inside the classroom from the teacher, from people who look like them, and outside the classroom for support from those that look like them as well. So that's when INC Tutoring was born. And basically, it's an organization to where we provide tutoring services for students from first grade all the way up to PhD, to doctorate level, in STEM subjects, test preps, English reading, writing, and foreign languages. We service everybody. However, we target students of color and have a wraparound 360-degree approach that's holistic for them to succeed. And so what that means is we will build relationships with them, with the parents and the students first. Then we include a process including parents, teachers, counselors, students, and if they're in sports, the coaches, and a communication circle of influence. We mentor those kids and also provide back-end support so they get everything they need. And using this, we've been able to have so far a 95% success rate of our students earning A's and B's, and it's about 50 subjects company wide. We got about 62 tutors now nationwide. Wow. Between Dallas, Frisco, Chicago, DC, and Austin. We're going to expand to Atlanta and Charlotte in May of next year. I just came back from the Forbes conference in Detroit, so met a lot of contacts out there that want to have us out in Detroit. So that might be another safe place for us to kind of start off going as well. And ever since, man, things have been great. We've won 12 awards for what we've done in education. Been featured in the media about 52 times nationwide, just impacting students of color. Our team is millennial based, so we're younger to the students of today, so we can relate to them, and just kind of killing it across the game. Now we're the top Black-owned tutoring company in the Southern U.S. And in DFW. And that's just one of the organizations, right? So the other one, like you said, the Veal brand is really centered around business and education consulting, and also speaking engagements for those that are at any phase of business, whether they're starting off in middle ground or they're kind of seasoned. So doing that, and then speaking in different facets, from educational spaces to places that need diversity and inclusion type of items as well. And then with the INC Beauty brand, just kind of making sure, we're still kind of in the early stages of that, to bring a different dynamic and a different scenario for the beauty space, because it's crowded and saturated with cosmetics, right? Blushes and all of that. But there's not a real big wide space that's really built for beauty education. So that's kind of where the niche is.
Okay, well, that's good. Find a niche. Mobile, Alabama could use some tutoring. I'm from Mobile.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I heard about Alabama and Mississippi too.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all kind of spread out. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, well, you pretty much talked about what led you to go in business for yourself. So, what made you decide to open up your business in the DFW Metroplex?
Yeah. So, I started knocking door to door in the southern sector of Dallas, which in this case was Cedar Hill. Mm-hmm. And I know, that's kind of where we started, right? That's our birthing grounds. And so looking at the landscape back then, although now it's more prevalent because DFW has grown, we're at 7.2 million people now, which is the fourth after New York, LA, and Chicago. Mm-hmm. So our network and entrepreneurship scene here has grown, not only for millennials, but just in general for the startups. So we have a great breeding grounds for new companies to come in and make major change. And so back then, before that started, right, it was more so about, okay, cool, how can I make a quicker impact now and not have to wait, right? Because recently, I talked to some other people about other partnerships and things of that nature, and I let them realize that, hey, the problem with education and doing things in business is the fact that, yeah, we could wait for contracts and things like that work for the government, but going through the red tape is too long when students need help today, right? So doing that was like, hey, I want to start in the DFW area and kind of get it cracking there. And then from that point forward, we can kind of move on to the different cities. And initially, the alignment was to go from Dallas to, the cities we have between Dallas, Frisco, Chicago, DC, and Austin. But after that was to say, hey, let's then expand to Atlanta, Charlotte, then go to Miami, San Francisco, LA, and then New York.
Yeah.
But I got random calls recently from people across New York and in San Francisco that was like, hey, we don't have a tutoring company of color that is reaching our demographic that has the same results parity that you guys do. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dang, well, we really want to attack that right now, but it's just not the time yet because we don't have the people that we want strategically to be placed in those cities to make the impact that we're looking for.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out how that trajectory is going to run.
Yeah.
But Dallas just seemed like the perfect place at the moment to push it off. And I'm not even from here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm from, the West Coast, and also the East Coast. But this market right now seems to be one of the best ones to kind of spruce out and make sure the kids get what they need.
Okay, that's what's up. All right. So one of the things that people do in business, so people think they have to have the best of everything to get started. And do you believe in keeping your investment small in the beginning? If so, why?
All right. So I believe that everything kind of starts small. I think a couple of things I can add to that. If we're talking about from a financial perspective, I think that you can have different facets of investments, right? You can invest in your business. You can invest in real estate, right? You can invest in stocks and all that good stuff, right? But you don't have to know all the information up front. You can learn as you go, right? Now, when it comes to the business side of the house and you're actually starting your organizations and starting small businesses, the first thing you need to do is have a dream, right? Dreams don't come into action unless you put something to put feet to the fire. So doing that is first. And then from that point forward, getting your LLC, doing those little small startup costs are very important. Once you get that done, then you can kind of build the structure around your organization and what you want to do with it, right? So starting small and not growing too fast are key things that are successful pillars of success, right? And business, because if you think that you're going to grow, if you think you're going to make the move too quick, you don't want to do that because you can lose traction easily as you can just get it. You can lose the traction that fast, right? So building a team is very important. Everybody across the nation asked me how we built our team and how we hire the people, because the team is just phenomenal. Like,
that's good.
Anybody that's listening out there, if even my own team gets a chance to kind of listen to this, Clinton, my business manager, like Kia, Angela, Sequoia, JoJo, Gloria, like everybody that's part of the team when it comes to that. All the regional managers and just the team, the tutors, like building the right team that pushes the right mission and follows through with that, and believes in what you do is just as beneficial to the organization as anything else. And that in terms of investment, you have to invest in your team and make sure that you pay them well.
That's true. There was a book, I believe the Gallup of Americans, the American workplace. I think it was a study, and it was discussing about the engagement that employees have in the company, and I think like it's only 33% are engaged. However, what they look for is you investing back into the employees. Do they have something to look forward to? And it's really those are like some of the factors behind a good team. Like people, it's not necessarily the work people complain about nowadays. It's basically the leadership that's in place. So if you got a good team, that says something about you as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I believe in that. That you should, like, people that have good teams are good leaders. Most of the time when I feel like when people complain more so is, sometimes you're gonna get those people that you're going to have those problems. But if you're a good leader and a good motivator, you're going to have a good team and you're going to be successful.
Right, absolutely. And it's got to be about them. Like, when you're CEO, you can't, the business is not about you, right? The business is about your people, and it's about the impact. So you're really leading a movement, right? And you have people that are joining you in that movement, but at the end of the day, you work for your people, not the other way around.
That's true. That's a good tip. Y'all take note to that. Okay. So what was the first quarter like working for yourself? Like, you out. The 9 to 5 is a thing of the past. It's Monday.
I mean, you know what? Like, so those of you that out there that like, okay, I gotta have the full-time thing up front. There are situations and scenarios now. I mean, there are fake entrepreneurs out there too, but there's certain things. It's like when you get out there, you don't necessarily always have to jump out there with all your feet in up front, right? If you do work a job in the corporate, then you can do things and work your business part-time, but you can work it part-time in a full-time manner after you get off work. So if you do your 9 to 5, you might take your break and then you do your 7 to 2. But not everybody can hack not having 2 or 3 hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just depends on kind of how you move. I actually had an article that was posted a while back about moving from the workplace to entrepreneurship as well for the millennial, right?
Yeah.
So one of those things is specifically that you have to make sure that you have the funding behind you before you jump out, right? So like your savings, your 401k, your IRAs, whatever you have that can filter you and push you and cushion you when you jump out is going to make sure things are better for you when you do that, right? So, but as far as how it had been doing that, I did 2 years or whatnot full time, and I started out like I did 3.5 years part time, and believe it or not, I was able to gain a lot of traction from a part-time manner when people actually thought I was already full-time, but I pushed it so heavily that you couldn't even tell that I even had a job at all. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was kind of the fun part. But I mean, you know, we ended up doing pretty good. I think up to now we're looking at maybe $500,000 in earned revenue around across the board. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to continue to drive that impact and make things happen. But first quarter was tough and rough. First year, you know what I'm saying? But as you continue to go along and and build your team, your team can help you, you know, move the needle along, so it becomes less stressful.
Okay. My next question how do you become, I guess, how did you deal with, like, you know, the fear of that? Because some of my friends that are starting, you know, I mean, you have, you know, the kids, the household, like, I do believe that there's like a certain mental space you have to be in. So what would be your advice to those people who have certain circumstances that, like, listen, if this don't work, I might just...
I mean, you gotta be in a mental space to where, you know what I'm saying, like your plan A, your plan B is your plan A, period. And you put it on repeat, right? Yeah. Like, if something doesn't work, you have to go back and you have to make it work, right? I don't have any kids or nothing like that, but if you do have a family and you're trying to make your business kind of, you know, you make your business work for you, so you can kind of do that full time, you have to figure out what barriers that you have, right? I know for me personally now, I didn't really care about mental space before because it just wasn't part of my path, right? Now that I'm like, I got a team of 62 people in just one business alone, not the other two, like, and I got so much going on, like, it's hard for me to actually take time for myself to do anything else besides work, period. You know what I'm saying? So there are times, and it's funny because the movie Joker just came out, right? And when you look at the movie Joker and you realize that he wasn't really a bad person per se. People made it out to be that he was bad, but they didn't know the stuff behind the scenes that he dealt with. And any entrepreneur that really is on their stuff can tell you that there are a lot of things mentally that we go through. You may not see it on media. You may not see it, you know what I'm saying, face to face. But behind the scenes, there are times where, you know, we sit at the house and we crying about things. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things that, the great things that go well or great things that don't go so well, or so much hard work that we put in, things that we lose and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm now realizing the fact that the mental space, like, and the mental health thing is important. So I'm trying to, this next year, this new first quarter, is going to be, okay, Jay, when you going to have the time to, you know what I'm saying, set aside a time to go kick it, or set aside a time to take a walk real quick, or whatever the case may be, so I can put myself in the game to move to the next level.
That's true. Y'all, he always tell me about kicking it. I don't know if that's you thinking I'm kicking it. I don't kick it all the time, but you do always say, you know, you're going to have to say no. You got to say no. You can't do this. You can't do that. So that's true. So you're big on LinkedIn. Yeah, he's big on LinkedIn, y'all. So tell people, like, how do you utilize LinkedIn to as a resource for your business?
Yeah, so one thing that I learned in general just about media, period, and it's funny because, like, literally before I got here, somebody would hit me up on LinkedIn, was like, man, I follow your stuff all the time, like, I love what you post, da-da-da-da, but in order for you to kind of make the impact, you have to continue to be consistent. It's hard to be consistent on all platforms. Like, you got to pick a lane. It's like, do I do LinkedIn or do I do Facebook? Do I do Facebook for the week or do I do that? But it's hard to do Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat in like 1 week. You know what I'm saying? And be able to do it all, right? So I think for me, I learned a little bit earlier that LinkedIn was kind of like a slept on platform.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, oh, you go to LinkedIn for a resume, or you go to LinkedIn for a job.
Yeah.
But nobody really saw behind the scenes how powerful it really was when you can actually connect with CEOs of real companies, right? You can't necessarily do that. I mean, you can do it in Instagram now, but it's more on the DM side of the house. And they may not pay attention. It could get lost in translation.
Yeah.
But with LinkedIn, it's a direct hit.
Yeah.
So, and their algorithms are way more sleeker than your Instagram and your Facebook right now. So if you want to get more, if you want to get your content seen more at this moment, do video on LinkedIn and do a lot more posting consistently every day or every other day during the week to make sure that you get the engagement that you're really looking for. But for me, I post every time we do sessions and things, especially myself. I post those sessions, right? I post the notes that I took.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do the video like I did today. Sometimes I decide to do certain quotes and things of that nature, but it just depends on how I kind of feel things are going that particular week and how I decide to post certain content, right? But I got a little bit bigger on LinkedIn than all the other platforms because of just how we've been moving professionally. How folks have seen my journey, right, from the beginning to now. And a lot of the things that we've been doing have been followed on LinkedIn. So the people just keep on coming and seeing the good things that are happening. And that's kind of how it is. But that the grand scheme of things in media, I think we talked about this before too. I'm not a big proponent of PR, only because a lot of the times PR folks, right, will say, hey, I can do this, this, and this, and this for you.
Yeah.
Right? You pay a retainer, and it doesn't happen for you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, for me personally, I took control of a lot of my own PR for the organization, and by just doing that came everything else, right? So you gotta be real careful. Not saying that it's bad, or not saying that you can't use it, but you gotta be really careful for whatever your specific niche and market is.
Yeah.
Can they hit that market?
Yeah.
Education's a little tough because not everybody understands. How do I tell a story for the media to get recognized by different platforms, right? It's all juicy when it comes to entertainment. Right. Right? Or when it comes to startups or stuff like that, right? Yeah. But the story needs to be told a little bit differently when it comes to ed. So
that makes sense. Like strategic messaging. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't honestly me working in marketing, I would have to literally sit to figure out what I would do with education, especially with me not even having children, and that's just not my world. As far as how that goes.
Well, when I became a contributing writer for Black Enterprise, that's my lane still. Yeah, education, financial literacy, and credit. Yeah, right? Those are my two lanes. Yeah. So I walk in those spaces, but those that do PR need to understand whatever your dynamic is, they need to really research it before they start to PR you out. That's because true. If they're not going to understand how to get you out, they don't understand what you're doing.
That's true. Yeah. And you know what? I don't have this on my list, but you do talk about financial literacy a lot. So since you put that in there, I think people are getting way a bit more better about it than they were in the past.
Right.
But what would you tell someone like an 18-year-old in college? I don't know about you, but I remember when I was in school, they used to have the people you get a free T-shirt if you sign up for a credit card on campus. I might be dating myself. But that's did they used to do that in school, or am I telling my age? Because you sign for a visa application, you get a free T-shirt, and people, they didn't know how to manage their debt. And you come out with these credit cards, of course, student loans. So, what would you tell, the younger generation about this is how you approach?
So the T-shirt thing, I don't remember the T-shirt thing, but I do remember that in the mail, you would get certain things in the mail that stated, hey, get this credit card for Visa, Discover, Capital One, whatever the case may be. I dated
myself.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, you good, but it's one of those things where, you know what I'm saying, you get those and you have to make a decision at that point. Now, in hindsight, going backwards to figure out, hey, what would I tell students? What would I tell people in college? Is one is don't put all your eggs in one basket for one, right? Like if you're looking for scholarships and things, let's rewind the tape. Those individuals who are in sports, right? The thing I always hate
about it
just
for the
in school in general.
Okay.
If they're in sports and they're in school, one thing they always harp on, and parents be like, "Oh, my kid, I want them to play basketball or football or baseball, whatever." Like, and their parents put them in this place, right, to say, "Hey, I want them to go and get a scholarship in athletics," but you can't put all your eggs there. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I played sports too in school, but I got $385,000 worth of money to go to school. So I didn't have to pay for my undergrad or my grad degree. And I had no debt, no loans, no nothing, right? So it's like the conversation needs to be centered around, cool, you can do sports. But the more important thing is, what does your academic profile look like?
Yeah.
Right? Are you a scholar or are you just a sport player?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you can be both and have high GPAs, right, while you're going to school, they're looking for the all-around person who can not only be able to get a 4.0, right, but who can also play sports, who can be involved in community events, who can go, if they want to play, that can be in sorority and fraternities, right? All that stuff all in one is what they're really looking for, to see if you can actually succeed in their university or college, right? So that's one thing. Two is, when you get those credit card things, you need to be very careful about how you address them. You looking for secured credit cards, or you looking for unsecured credit cards, right? If you're starting off just barely coming into college or barely graduating high school at 18, then a secured credit card will probably be the way to go at first, right? Okay. Because you can borrow against the money that you put in, right? So when you look at the grand scheme of things, if you get a secured credit card for $500, you'll probably be able to spend about $400, maybe $450 of that, because there's a part that they do keep and you can't spend that, so you can kind of re-up on it when you put money back into it, right? So having a secure credit card will build enough stability for you, and what they look for discipline for you to then move towards an unsecured card. Now, I would do that for about 1 or 2 years. Okay. After about 1 or 2 years, then you can kind of, you know what I'm saying, you can graduate to a unsecured card, and then you can start to have revolving credit. But you don't want to be irresponsible with your revolving credit. You know what I'm saying? You know, ladies out there, don't be out there coming, oh, let me go buy these red bottoms, right? No. Let me go buy this bag real quick. Don't do it, right? What you need to do is really focus on what are your basic needs that you have to have, and look at what you want to have, right? What you want to have might not be your right now. Yeah. It might be your later, right? Your friends will always be like, girl, or boy, go get this, go get that. And you want to do things for the gram or for social media, right? At this time to be young, or at that time to be young, that's not your time to impress everybody right now, right? Your time is to focus, get your stuff together, get your money right, stack up, and then when you want to splurge, then you can splurge on your own when you want to. You don't have to have no regrets. But oftentimes we do these things, right? And then we look back and we're like, dang, if I didn't spend no money on that thing, right, then I would have money for X, Y, and Z, or go to this trip or whatever. So, you know, don't put your eggs in one basket. Make sure you understand and are educated about what kind of credit there is. Make sure you're educated about revolving debt, right? Credit, lines of credit, all that stuff, right? And make sure that when you're looking for scholarships and things like that, you look for scholarships that are centered around your academics too, and as well as your athletics as well, but they have to be partnered up, right? In our organization, in tutoring organization, we offer test prep too, right? So being able to train those students for those kind of entities as well, and make sure they can, they have the perfect picture to go to school, you know, without much debt, if any debt at all, right? So that's kind of what I would say to them.
Okay. Do you have any websites for them to look at scholarships? I just know we used to go to the guidance counselor. Dated myself again. I mean, there is a FastWeb too, but honestly, FastWeb is okay. But I have I literally, for those that are looking, I have a whole list. If you just message me, I can send you the deck. But I have a whole PowerPoint deck that when I present at schools or organizations, I give them the deck, and they can just go look at it. It's like a long list, like this long. Okay, y'all make sure y'all follow him, so you can get that list, parents, for your children.
Yeah, for sure.
So, this has been like a topic, kind of like about, kind of switching lanes a little bit more. how do you handle adversity? Like, just like in business or like, people in your circle and things of that sort that might not be as supportive as you would like for them to be, or just dealing with another person that might. I guess I'll give an example because I was trying to say it in a nice way, but
be straight up. That's all. That's all I'm gonna be right now. I'm just gonna be straight up.
When I was like, when I was living in Savannah, I was getting ready to start my writing business then. So I was like, okay, well maybe I'll meet with an agency and maybe they can refer. We can do a referral fee type of thing. They refer someone, I'll write, and I talked to the guy and he was like, well, I can do that myself. I was like, kind of didn't really. Approach you for you to do it. And he was like, he told me my prices were a little bit too much. And I just felt like it was a little bit inappropriate. Just say no thank you or take my card and never call me again. But on the business side, how do you deal with adversity? And on the personal side, how do you deal with it? So it's a two-part question.
So business, there's a lot of different things in adversity. Like one is within your own team, right? So sometimes you have, and I wouldn't even call it drama. I would call it, you have things that may not align with your vision and goals of your organization. And there's some people in your organization that provide or that are contributing cancer to your internal org, right? So you really got to look at it and see, okay, is this person in my organization doing great things for the organization? Or are they, are they detrimenting the organization by doing certain actions, right? So it's like, you're either on the bus or you not, period, right? So if you're not on the bus and on the same bus going the same direction, then you got to get about the bus, right? Like they always say, one of my things that Gary Vee says, and also John Henry, is that you got to be quick to fire, but slow to hire. And what that means is that take your time really putting people on your team and vetting them out. And then if they're not doing what they need to do, then they need to go, period. That's it. Holler at your boy. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So that's one thing internally. When it comes to adversity in the business as well, maybe I would say folks who are trying to get your services, right? There'll be a couple of different things that you'll see, right? Like you stated. Oh, well, maybe the price is too high. Maybe the price maybe too low. Maybe they just aren't familiar with your organization enough to really see your value. But here's the thing that I've learned lately, and there's been a lot of posts about this recently too through social media, is the fact that you're gonna have to respect what I do. Right? I tell people this all the time, even on social media. You can like me as a person, or you may not like me as a person. I don't care, to be honest with you. You can like me or not. But at the end of the day, what I do for the community and my business, you can't refute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You may not like Veal, but when you look up INC Tutoring, you're going to respect that because we do everything well, right? And we do everything for the positive, right? So sometimes when you're looking at that dynamic of the business and the personal side, you have two lanes to go in, and you really just can't focus your mind on what everybody else and their mama think about you all the time. You know what I'm saying? You got to really put your mind in, okay, my focus and my mission is who am I impacting on a day-to-day basis, and if it doesn't fit in line with that, then they can kick rocks, period. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with other adversity things, like you're going for deals and you don't get those deals and stuff like that too, sometimes you just got to keep it pushing, because everybody keeps telling me all the time, God, whatever's for you is for you. It's hard to take in. It's like, dang, I just lost that contract, or I just lost that client, or whatever. But at the end of the day, you sit back and you think, you know what? I guess it's gonna happen if it's gonna happen. If I'm gonna get that deal, I'm gonna get that deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna get that vehicle, I'm gonna get that vehicle.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna get that job, I'm gonna get that job. But you can't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? You just got to do you. Now, when it comes to the personal side of adversity, I be going through a lot of stuff all the time. You know what I mean? Between stuff internally in the organization, to deaths in the family, to trying to work 3 different roles. It is very difficult to have 3 different, organizations and small businesses, to dealing with family and friends and all that. You talked about support. Our folks don't necessarily understand all the time really how to support and what that looks like. And they might do it, but the problem is that people don't support you until you get bigger. I don't know why, but it is what it is, right? Like when we were just coming out the game, it was cool, slow support. But then when we got a bunch of media and people saw that we were not playing games, then a lot of people wanted to kind of jump on board.
Yeah.
But it's like people need to see you a lot more
in
order for them to kind of like, okay, well, let me follow them now. Let me see what they're doing now versus in the early stages. It's like, oh, well, man, they just whatever. You know what I'm saying? So watching that dynamic and figuring out who's really following you to really follow you, or do they hate on you and they still follow you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can delete me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like what I do, then delete me, right?
Right.
But you often see that they won't delete you still. So like clearly there's something that you like,
right? And
you still following. So those individuals in the personal dynamic of that following, right, is being able to push off those that are not for you and being positive. You just let them go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those people in your circle that are cancer to you, let them go. And you keep on pushing the way you need to be pushing.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And, you know, I try not to, like, get offended, like, when people... Like, if I, say, hey, you know what, I want to interview this person.
Yeah.
And then they, like, either don't respond or they're like, nah. It's like, okay, excuse me. But I get, it's like, you want to see what I do. You want to see, it's not a very, very big audience right now. I get it. Right. But would I go back and circle around and try to talk to those people again? The answer is going to be no. I just feel like it's so many more, and I don't know if that's how would I say, if that's being petty? I would say that's being petty. But,
I would say that.
But do you get what I'm saying, though? Because sure. Like, they still would be, because you still, some people like, well, even now in bigamy, like, this person refuses to come on, this person refuses. I just don't think I want to be that type of host where if you refuse to come on, that's kind of forever.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think it's a mode of, you treat $10,000 like $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you have $1 in your pocket right now, or you got a rack, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or you have $50,000 or whatever the case may be, you treat as little as you have to as much as you're gonna get, right? Just like when you're going to a job, you got a CEO and you got a janitor.
Yeah.
The question is, who's the more important person? Is it the CEO who runs the company? Or the janitor who cleans up to make sure that this place is good for everybody when they come back? I'm going to say... You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, do I have to say something? Because I'm going to answer.
I mean, you can.
I'm going to say the janitor, y'all.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, it's got to be a good, healthy, clean environment. You can get another janitor and a CEO, but if the janitor is... I think everybody should be treated with the utmost respect.
So the same thing with media or with anything, right? You can be covered here, or you could be covered by Black Enterprise. Yeah. You could be covered with Essence. You could be covered with, whatever, right? With XE Nicole, all that stuff, right? So, I don't think it's about the where. It's about how do you tell your story in each different facet, right? Because the way that you tell your story may be different in the platform.
That's true.
But the way that your journey looks from each respective scenario may be a little bit different. But you got to respect everybody's genre, because, like you said, you never know. You know what I'm saying? Everybody started off
somewhere.
Small. The Rock started off small. Yeah. Kevin Hart started off small. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Murphy started off small. Will Smith started off small. But it took time, and everybody says, "Yo, they blew up." Yeah. But the one thing I can tell y'all out there is that nothing is just automatic. Nobody went through a journey in entrepreneurship without some sort of hard work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And overnight success has never been an overnight success. It's always been 10 years behind, 5 years, 8 years, 20 years, and then all of a sudden they became hot.
Right, and then they're
and now it's an overnight success, right?
Right.
So that's what you got to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So what is one of your biggest regrets in business, and how did you learn from it?
So one of my original biggest regrets is trying to figure out a structure to pay consultants a little early on. It was fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the best for the organization when it came to the revenue.
Yeah.
Right? When it came to profitability, right?
Yeah.
So I had to kind of enlist the help of my business manager, you know what I'm saying, which his name is Clinton. And we had to talk, you know what I'm saying, about, okay, how does this work, right? How can we maximize paying people well and maximize profitability at the same time? And, you know, we originally used a percentage model, and that wasn't the right model, right? We needed to use a straight line model for rates, right? And using the rate model versus the percentage model gave us a lot more of a line, right? And it looked more like this or like that instead of like this, right? Yeah. More flat. So I think right now I would say the biggest regret initially was to understand which type of model I should use for compensation.
Okay.
Now I would say at this time, the biggest regret would probably be to try and hire folks too fast. You know what I'm saying? Bringing people on board is great, but like I stated earlier, having the right team and a team that's going to really follow what you need them to in the organization is the team that you really want to have.
Yeah.
So it's really just kind of growing a team too fast and not seeing that they're not going to stick with you for a long time. But you need, in this industry, you need somebody that's going to stick with you, because when you go out to go to that client and you tutor them, guess what that kid is going to be looking for? Consistency. You see what I'm saying? If I got John coming through and he tutors for like 2 sessions and he's out and he got to get replaced by somebody else, that kid's going to be like, yo, what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, and then people teach math differently or
any subject, right? So it's about consistency and being able to bring on people who are going to be there for a longer haul.
Yeah.
And understand how that works, how that dynamic operates.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. My tutor was the same throughout high school. And then we had a program at UAB called Trio. Shouts out to Trio.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar, for sure.
You remember Trio?
Yeah, we did Trio for Paul Quinn.
Yeah, okay, yeah. They had it at UAB.
Yeah.
So I was in Trio. So we had, we were able to get tutors from any subject. Mine was still math. It's, I understand that it's just foreign language to me. So, but I did like consistency when I was in high school. Okay. It was very good. I didn't feel anxiety because he knew my weaknesses. He knew what I understood. He knew what I didn't understand. So I do think that consistency will play a role in that, because they have to learn you all over again. And then as a kid, you got to get comfortable.
Yeah.
And even me, like being an adult, I have to be comfortable with you to tell you certain things about me, especially when I don't know anything. And I'm not even like a grandiose person, but it's like, do I want them to know that I don't know that? So that makes sense. It's
all the way up to the adults. Like you said, I mean, we do from like first grade all the way up to doctorate, right? So, and I talk about this in my TED Talk that I did about relationships, about how do you build relationships deep, but still be able to address the concern of the academic side of the house, but get them to trust you.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't have your student trusting you, period, then I don't care how cool you are, how good you look, how whatever, right? If your kid or if that particular individual, you don't have a great relationship with them and they don't like you, then the tutoring is not going to go well.
No.
Money's going to be out the window.
Yeah.
If it's their mama's paying for it, it's going to be a waste of money and time. If the adult's paying for it, it's going to be a waste of their money and time. They got to like this person in order for them to listen to them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, what do you attribute? Well, I think we already talked about that, because I was going to ask you what you attribute to your success, but you said a good team. Am I correct?
Good team. There's a lot more than that, though.
Okay.
I mean,
elaborate, enlighten us.
I mean, so I think that one of the great things that attributes to success, and initially for me, was my mom, right? Because she supported me throughout the time of me beginning the organization. Recently when we were talking earlier, when I was able to earn the United Nations Award, right? And I brought her up on stage with me.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought that was pretty cool to understand that she was the one that not only thought about the name of the event, thought about the name of the organization, but kind of knew how to support me in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So being able to have your family, support you is one thing that make you successful. But the second thing is your team. But the third thing I would say is being able to manage time and being able to manage that team and grow, right? So the growth factor sometimes is the issue. It's hard enough to be a one-man show or a one-woman show and be in a small business. But how do you scale, right? How do you manage your scenario enough so you can scale and grow bigger with doing less work?
Yeah.
And I think that is what I attribute to the success so far. So it's family, team, scalability, knowing how to manage the team well, right? And then the gumption to just keep following through. Even when stuff doesn't pan out, you got to keep moving.
Okay. Is it 5 minutes total, Jedi?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you. I had, tell me about the UN Awards.
All right.
Real quick. I want to hear about that because I stopped your page.
Yeah, so basically the United Nations Awards is something that was just recently given out in the UNA USA organization here in Dallas, right? And so the award was given out in this particular case to 11 individuals who were making big impacts in all of the sustainable development goals that the United Nations has globally, right? So even my frat brother, President Sorrell from Paul Quinn College, earned the award for Sustainable Goal 1, which is poverty, right? We earned the award for Sustainable Goal 4, which is quality education.
All right.
We were the only organization that's in education in Dallas to be recognized for this award for the impact that we've made with students of color, right? So being able to, we were humbled just to be able to meet a sustainability goal for the United Nations, period.
That's what's up.
And be able to kind of come in and make the impact, right?
Yeah.
So, it was great to get it, but even greater is to continue the journey and the walk, to continue to make sure that we are providing quality education and access and equitable education for everybody.
Yeah.
But even with the students of color, it's really pushing our initiatives to make sure that they're succeeding and they're getting to the colleges of their choice, graduating and becoming great citizens of society. So phenomenal award. Shout out to the United Nations Dallas chapter and United Nations globally in general. We're very, very humble for that.
Isn't that nice, y'all? I saw that. I was like, okay, I see you. So I guess we're gonna wrap things up. So I have just a little something fun for the end. And I know last time I did the J spot, but it's the Hey DFW's top 5, where I just asked you just 5 random questions.
Okay, cool.
Just fun questions.
Yeah, sure.
So number 1 is what's one tip that you have to remain positive in life? Just one tip if you had to tell somebody.
One tip, think of that light at the end of the tunnel and just keep striving to move forward.
Okay. One skill that you have that no one knows about. It can be something silly or it can be something serious.
I'm bilingual in Spanish.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I didn't know.
Yeah,
like I supposed to know.
For sure. Nah,
okay, that's what's up. How do you prefer your turkey, fried or baked?
Baked for sure. Actually smoked.
Oh.
Actually smoked, but baked is better than fried, so for sure.
Okay. And who is your role model today?
Man, I would say my mom is my role model. My
that's
parents
so sweet.
in general. But yeah, I'd say both my parents, honestly. But my mom has paved the way for a lot of what I've done in education. And she's been there and supportive. So I would say her work ethic is... I got my work ethic from my mom because she works all the time, just like I do. So nonstop.
It matters. Shouts out to mom. Yeah. My mom is my proofreader, so I know. What is your 2019 theme song?
Oh man, I don't even know. I gotta think about that one for a second.
Okay, I have another one. I put alternate question because I know people. I know people sometimes like, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Alternate question. If you could bring a style back, what would it be?
Actually, let's go back to the first question.
Okay,
Real quick.
all
So
right.
I would say my theme song would be "Light Up," and that's a song by
Oh.
Drake and Jay-Z. It's an older song.
Oh,
So-
that's your theme song for 2019, Jay?
Yeah, "Light Up." So
You
because
I need a 2019 song in 2019.
oh, that was made in
Yeah, that's
2019.
your
Oh,
right.
I think that was song was in 18 or 17. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Go back to the second question. Man. Sorry. Thought you meant any song. Okay. My bad.
If you could bring a style back, what would it be?
I would say, you know how you have DJ, not DJ, but Russell Simmons, kind of like how he wears his stuff, right? Like kind of like he's kind of laid back like this with his hats and all that. I would bring that back just because I like to see. I'm always so dressed up all the time.
Yeah.
You know, people that know me know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I was shocked. I'm like, okay, I like it though.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, so just kind of the laid back look. I think laid back style with the tracksuits or whatever. I think I would bring that back.
Okay, leg warmers all day. I love me some leg warmers. Yes.
When it gets a little cold, I feel you. But when I was in Detroit, this past week, it was actually colder in Dallas and Detroit and Atlanta, because I was in all of them, right? So it's just like, how is Dallas colder than those other cities? I don't know. But
I'm not a cold person.
Been crazy.
But I still love leg warmers. Okay, y'all. Well, thank you, Jay, for coming back.
Yeah,
You're
so
sweet for coming back. And then dealing with me going up 12 flights of stairs. Y'all, he waited on me. I was late and stuff. So, you know.
Silly.
I just appreciate him so much. And he's leaving us next year. He's going to move to Atlanta.
Yeah, man. Going to that ATL to make sure we can bring the tutoring organization to Atlanta and Charlotte. It's going to be a good look. So for those of you that are in Atlanta right now and looking at this video or looking at this interview, be sure to tune in, because we're bringing something to Atlanta that's never been seen when it comes to tutoring for your students, kids, or the adult learners that you guys have. There's not a holistic environment that's been pushed out in any of the major cities in the United States, and for us to bring it to Atlanta next, for Gwinnett County, Fulton County, Cobb County, and all the rest of the counties that they have in ATL, it's gonna be something special. So as y'all see, everything's going, moving out, right?
Yeah.
Got the Tyler Perry Studios and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're gonna be good. Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity to be had to make sure that you guys get the best education possible from us. So.
All right. Can you give him your social handles, or you want me to do it? I got it right here.
No, I got it. We can do it. We can make it happen. So,
okay, follow him, y'all.
If y'all want to follow me, go to Instagram at INC Tutoring. N is in November, C is in Cat Tutoring, like educational tutoring. The Veal brand, inkbeauty.co, or the website www.inktutoring.com, or on Facebook you can follow It's Not Complicated Tutoring, and it'll all pop up. But basically on social media, INC Tutoring, or It's Not Complicated Tutoring, or the Veal brand, etc. Or just Google.
Yeah, he's all
tons
over
of articles about us online.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in and being patient with me. I'm going to do one more show before the end of the year. So thank you for just tuning in. Bye.
All right, y'all.